Good morning again. Yes, this is my second talk for the day. It is now 2:45 a.m. in the morning. And yeah, I forget what day it is. Yeah, but let me just say something. Yeah, this is Spirit Journey. And I just did a video. I was discussing the dream that I had and the vision that I had. I want to talk now about spirituality. So after I had woken up from dreaming and seeing the vision, I was playing a video and had this lady. I'm new to her channel. She's a black woman. She lived in New York City. She's of Haitian descent. And she practices Reiki. Yeah, I just found her video late last year. And she was on and she had a guest speaker. I wanted, she used to be a psychotherapist, a traditional psychotherapist, I think she called it. And she branched out into, excuse me, other healing practices like Reiki. And I want to talk about what is, because I'm on the path too. I mean, I feel a little weird about it. And I may offend some people here. And again, it's not my intention. But it's part of my process of trying to understand certain things about myself and everybody. Because see, we're all a work in progress. All of us. So here you have a woman who was trained as a psychotherapist, and she branched out into other art forms. She studies the Reiki and other similar practices, with what they call energy. And here, this black woman of Haitian ancestry, she seems very progressive. And she moved to Brazil. And I think a lot of us, black women, and also I am of Caribbean descent as well, but not from Haiti. Interesting that you have, I guess, coming from New York City. New York City is very racialistic. It's a lot of racism also. And I think when you have people like me, black women, especially if you're coming, let's say your parents or grandparents are coming from other places such as the Caribbean, that there is a different mindset. There is. And you're still faced as a black woman, as a black person, the walls of discrimination that does exist. But I think being a so-called outsider, so to speak, even if you're physically born here, there are some differences, and you will have different experiences in comparison to people who are born here and lived here for many, many, many generations, people who were brought here directly as slaves. I think their experiences is a little bit more intense. In my opinion, there's more poverty amongst them, a lot of pain and suffering. And even though I'm born here, I see both halves. I see the half of oppression But I also see the other half of the newcomer experience. And you're trying to navigate your way in. You have some social mobility and thinking. And a lot of that thinking, we're being influenced by our environment and spirituality in New York. It's a heavy Asian influence. New York City, the mainstream white culture, Jewish culture here, they're into the what they call Reiki practices, this new agey type stuff, crystals, Tibetan bowls, things like that. And then this is supposed to be the new spirituality. And as some of you know, I'm sorry, my voice is going a little bit. As some of you know who have been following my channel, I used to be a devout Christian. But in 2013, just something, I had a white pastor. It was a mixed congregation, but the pastor, the lead pastor was white, and you have co-pastors of black people too, Caribbean people. It was a friendly church. It was all different types of people that went there. And I attended that church for, again, 2 years. Two is a very significant number for me. 2 years, 2 weeks, that number keeps repeating in my life. And duration time, 2 years maximum. 2, that's wow. I thought this would be like the last church I would be at, and I was waiting for Jesus to come. And I remember when I signed up for the church, like I attended it for a year, and actually after the 1 year mark, you could apply for membership and apply for, a ministry there. And it was just coincidental that I decided to get in the ministry there. Since I was attending there for a year, I was approached by a woman. She says, hey, she was looking at my hat that I knitted. She says, hey, did you make your hat? Hey, we have a ministry here, a knitting crochet club ministry. Maybe you want to join it. And so I checked it out and I did join. And what else happened? But after like a year from that point, I made a lot of items for this ministry. I felt frustrated, and I was just about to, I think, graduate. Oh no, I had to take I know I had to take some exam for school or something. So I was at like a crossroad. And then I said in that December of 2013, I said, I think I had enough of this. There was nothing bad that happened, but I was just evaluating what all this means. Because, Jesus didn't come yet. And, when I started going to church 2 years prior, I said, I'm about to finish school and, Jesus might be coming. I want Jesus to see me when I'm in the fellowship, because I think the Bible talks about fellowshipping. And I said, it'd be nice, when Jesus comes and I'm with other Christians and we're in fellowship, and we're just not just waiting for you to come and rescue us. That was my mindset. But by the time, the end of the 2 year marker, and it's December, I said to myself, I'm not feeling it. I want more than this. And by this time, this person that was killed, this young black child, he was 17 years old when he was murdered. He was racially motivated. It was a Trayvon Martin, and they had the case, I think. It awakened me. The rekindling of being a New Yorker and navigating the racial disparities that happens here. You see the haves and the have-nots, and I just didn't feel comfortable with that. I was aware again, and religion wasn't addressing the racial climate. And I said, I want more. So I wasn't at that time initially giving up Christianity. I was just giving up church. And I wanted to seek out. And I started following this YouTuber in 2013, 2014, 13, 14. And I felt she was on a spiritual path. And I actually got to meet the person 4 months later, in April. I followed this YouTuber, and she was coming to town, and she had a book. And this book destabilized my foundation, my belief system, my paradigm system. And at this time, in my YouTube videos, you're going to hear that word a lot, my paradigm system, my paradigm system. It had a shift. And it was a very, very painful, anxiety-producing experience. And so now it's 2020, since that time, and now listen to this new YouTuber that I discovered in 2019. She's of Haitian ancestry, very modern, very, very Americanized. I think she was actually born here, but a family from Haiti. You would never know that she's from Haiti. And very, very, very mainstream. And her spirituality, she, again, traditional, like many of the blacks here, we get our education, we go to college. You find a lot of people from the Caribbean, those who do go to college, many of us from the Black Caribbean, I should say English-speaking, French-speaking Caribbean world. We go to college, and the ladies, not a lot of the guys, unfortunately, a lot of the men, our male counterparts, don't go to college, but the women seem to go. And we're influenced by our environment. And as I said earlier, that at least in New York City, it has, the spirituality is that Asian flavor, the Buddhism, reincarnation, the crystals, these singing bowls. And when I was leaving the church, and in 2014, I went to the East Village? I think it's Greenwich Village or East, it could be, Greenwich Village. And I went to this place, because I bumped into this place. It's near 6th Avenue, this section of Greenwich Village, around West 4th Street. And there's a new agey store. It's a place that sells the singing bowls, Tibetan bowls, like that, and some of the jewelry. It's a cute little store. It's jam-packed with stuff, and the guy's from Tibet. And I felt led to go there, and I bought my first Tibetan bowl and the singing bowl. I could have bought both, yeah, I think I bought both the same day. And a little seat to, this little bean bag thing that you sit on. And this was to be the beginning of my spirituality. Yeah. I knew I wanted something different, and I wanted to explore. And again, this older YouTuber, older in the sense of that I was following her for a while, for maybe 2 years at that time. And that's the one that introduced this paradigm shift in me. So in 2014, I said, I'm gonna, let me explore this stuff. Let me, and she also, this older YouTuber, she was introducing her videos, meditation. She showed us how she meditates and the incense and crystals. So I said, I'm going to try this. So I'm not sure which one came first. I could have bought the crystal first. I bought I remember my first crystal. It was the selenite. That one that, is supposed to be cleansing. I bought like a little sphere. It's about this, a little bigger than a billiard balls, a little bigger than that. And it's really neat, like in the center of it, it's very clear. So I thought, you stare at it, maybe you, like a crystal ball type of thing, because like the outside is foggy, then inside in this little circle, it's clear. So I bought that one. That was my very first piece. And yeah, I bought that at a crystal store. Yeah, so I think I bought the crystal first, and then I got the Tibetan bowl and the singing bowl. And that April, I did the meditation. I just sat down. I think I was on the beanbag thing, sitting on it. I closed my eyes, and I saw these symmetrical shape thing. It was like a chain, like a long chain of rectangles, very narrow, and the colors were red and green, and I remember it had a little black dot in the center. And it moved, I think, like ocean, like wave, it was following a current. And I saw a face, a man's face, very lean face, a Caucasian looking fellow, and the lighting on the face, the background was dark and the face illuminated, but it was a weird color. The lighting was weird, like a dingy yellowish, greenish pallor. And I said to myself, don't be scared, don't be scared. It was just for a few seconds. It didn't say anything, it just stared, and then it disappeared. He reminded me of a person from maybe 100 plus years ago. That was my instinct on it. He wasn't a modern face, he was a face of the past. Very lean features, not a big man, a small frame. I just saw the head and maybe part of the neck or something like that, but it's the face that stood out. And he had dark hair. There was dark eyes, and then I think he had, oh no, I don't think he had a beard or mustache. Maybe not, because I remember I saw a lot of his face, and it was very angular, long, slim nose, high cheekbones, very, very angular face, as I call it. Yeah. So now with this new video, this new woman, Haitian background, intellectual, and she's into what I'm exposing myself to, the new agey type thing, but she's involved in this Reiki, which is a popular thing. It's something I don't understand. She was interviewing a girl. I know I use the term girl a lot, but it was a young woman. She looked like 20s, no more than 30. And she's an artist at heart. She's into dance and music. She had these long hair in braids. She was a brunette, but she had these white extensions, these braids, slim braids all over. Yeah, she definitely is an artist, creative edge. And they were talking about their experiences, and they known each other for about 7 years, and she now, both of them are living in Brazil, Black Brazil. And the girl, the guest, the one with the white extensions, she comes originally from California, and she's a Chicano. And she says she self-identifies as a queer. And I think it's this I want to talk about. Again, people's sexuality is their business. You're an adult and you want to explore different things with your body. That is your business. I don't understand. I guess this part of the video, the audio here, I may ruffle some feathers, but I speak to understand. I notice. I don't understand. I think I'm hedging right now. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to express myself. I don't really know. I don't really understand what it is. I know we're all searching. And here these two women, they're into the, it's like they go to Brazil, and I would be interested in this also. I would be interested in these other traditions. I love the idea of learning about African spirituality. And Brazil, and at least the Haitian woman, or Haitian American woman, she's lived in Brazil now for 9 or 10 years. And she went to live amongst the Black Brazilians of Bahia. And she practices Reiki and moving energy there, and she has what they call seminars. I notice also in the field with moving energy, it seems like all these people are learning these new traditions of what they call energy work. And it seems like anybody is going into it, and it seems like everybody is a practitioner of Reiki, or they call themselves Reiki master. So now everybody's a master now. But are we being healed? I feel like it's marketing. It's a market, and now the market now is we no longer want to be just a regular psychotherapist, shrink. It's like now we got to be a psychotherapist with the Reiki, with all these crystal. And so to get a job, to get customers or whatever, it seems like you have to be so eclectic now. Because now the culture, the major wave that you see of the culture when you go outside to the mainstream communities, it all is that type of mindset. You know, it's like no one is a regular doctor anymore. Now they have what they call alternative medicine. And last year, this month, I had to go see I went to see a alternative. He was, what was he now? Oh, I'm trying to remember. Oh, he was a dermatologist / alternative medicine doctor. Remember, those who've been following me, I woke up one day and I had spots all over my buttocks and upper part of the thighs. It was a weird pattern. It's like 2x2s all over. And when I saw it, I thought I was in shock. And then by the time I got my camera to videotape, I kind of calmed down and I kind of I think played it off. Because you just should have seen me before. I was scared. And so I said, I have to document this. Because I was wondering what the hell is happening to me. So I knew I had to go see a doctor. I wanted to make sure there was nothing seriously wrong with me. Okay, I woke up with all this. And so I went online. After I did the video, I went online. I got to find some. I didn't want to go to the VA hospital. I am a vet. I didn't want to go to them because they really don't know they have no common sense there. And I knew I wanted to talk to someone that can think a little bit outside of the box of traditional medicine. So I found this doctor, a very arrogant doctor. And I think he was a charlatan. Everybody, see, it's like these specialties, these mainstream doctors, he was a dermatologist, but again, to market himself, alternative healer. And what his thing was to give out dietary supplements. And that's his shtick. And he was extremely rude and arrogant. But I allowed myself, he came across very arrogant over the phone. But I said, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to check this dude out. He's an elderly guy. And I went. So I said, I'm going to see what this new stuff is about, this new medicine, this alternative. And in short, I felt that he's no better than the others, traditional college, medical school doctors. It's all, I think, hype and about pushing pharmaceuticals or nutraceuticals. Okay, they're not hailing anybody. And I had to spend about $600 in one visit. Yeah. And I think it left me feeling a little angry. And I think I went because I really wanted to see, compare hands-on what this is all about, this new medicine, alternative medicine. I think they're overpriced. They have their regular license and then they tag on other licenses. I know I'm kind of getting off the subject. I'm sorry. But so this woman, and again, it's not a criticism. My intent is not about criticizing this hardworking woman. She's very likable. But so these two women met up in Brazil, and they're both still living in Brazil. But so it's like the culture now. So here, these are women that are want to embrace Africanisms, and Bahia is like the black capital of this Western Hemisphere. Most black people who were sent to the Americas in the transatlantic slave trade, the bulk of us were sent to Brazil, and the concentration of these slaves were in northern Brazil, in the state of Bahia. So it's very symbolic. And again, my black ancestors, when we were trafficked to the Americas, mine was in the Caribbean, in various islands. So it's interesting, you know, that it's like we want to get connected. We want to get connected to our roots. Both ladies. The other lady was a Chicano. She had a tan complexion and the hair and the braids with the white extension. It was nice, very creative. And the Haitian woman is completely shaven bald. And how it seems like this new age Reiki, like when we want to break out of religion, or I should say Christianity and its different denominations, it seems like we fall into the next mainstream religion, and in this case, and me included, this new age Hindu, Buddhism, that the whole genre and its many manifestations. So I think I'm asking myself, when I was listening to the Haitian woman, and I said to myself, wow, here she's in Bahia, but I mean, she does know about some of the African, you know, Afro-Brazilian stuff like the candomblé type of stuff. And I have attended that as well, candomblé. But it seems like it's no longer African anymore. We're crying out, we know there's a problem. We're trying to grasp onto our identities. Both of us, the Chicano and the Haitian, and here me, also a woman of Caribbean ancestry. We want to know how we fit here in this white-dominated culture. And yet we fall into the same trap. We're not in a real African tradition, even in medicine. What she is practicing and what I was introduced to is Asian. So it seems like Asia is the next frontier of medicine, spirituality. Where do we as women of Africa, or Afro-American, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Brazilian, where do we stand in this new market? Why? What it seems like the market that's being promoted is Asia. And I don't understand it. We as Black people, or even Chicanos, or Chicana, why are we drifting outside of our ancestral traditions, including myself. I'm including myself in all this. I have a Tibetan bowl. I have a singing bowl. They're all Asian. I mean, I love the bowl. It's beautiful. I know really nothing about my African traditions. Ancient Africa. When people do embrace certain Afro-Caribbean traditions like voodoo or what was the other thing, what they do in Puerto Rico and Cuba? I forget the name, what they call it there, but it's all the same root. I think both of the roots come from Nigeria. That's also what they were talking about in this program, the two ladies, that these traditions comes from Yoruba. And this is a tribe in Nigeria. It's like, wow, Nigeria, but yet we're not really following it. And I don't understand it. And I fell right into the whole mainstream culture of spirituality. It's like, oh, I remember the thought I was going to say with the Yoruba and the voodoo and candomblé, that it's vilified. When they use the term voodoo, it's used in a pejorative, like they have the thing, voodoo economics, voodoo this, voodoo that. Isn't that being bigoted or racist against the traditions of the Haitian religion and similar religions? Isn't it more than a religion, but a way of life that saved these people, that gave them the courage to fight off the French colonials? So I don't understand. I don't understand. It's like teaching Black people don't really embrace the African tradition because it's voodoo, it's bad, it's evil. But anything from Asia is good. Anything that they practice with medicine is good also. We are being brainwashed, and me included, about embracing our own traditions, about not embracing it as half-hearted, as fully as we do with this Asian tradition. It's like anything from Asia is good, and anything from Africa is bad. But you could have a smither of African, but your healing traditions, your this and that is all Asia. I surprise myself. I surprise myself. The other aspect of this is sexuality. Now, I made mention that the guest on this woman's vlog, she self-identifies as queer. Now, the Haitian woman gives seminars, and she does what they call energy work, and they have this thing called this practice that tantra and yoni tantra, something like that, and then the yoni something. I forget the name, but it's a Portuguese name for black, about the black yoni, or again, yoni is a Sanskrit word, she says, for the word vagina. Now, why are we, okay, now my language is English, I speak English. Why is that you can't say the word vagina, and now you want to use another name in another language, yoni? Well, it does have a softer way about the word. The V sound is a very strong word, but maybe they make it the word strong because it is a powerful thing. I'm just, I guess be trying to be a little funny here about a serious issue, but but it's like we're ashamed of our body part. We're ashamed to call it a vagina. So you might say the V word or yoni. To call it a yoni doesn't change what it is, but it's being used, this new word, and so it legitimizes that body part by using a foreign word. See, again, it's repackaging, the repackaging of what is to make you want to swallow it. And no pun intended when I say that, but to make you take on this new word, this new practice, this energy work of what we call sex, the Tantra thing. And again, that practice comes from India and the vicinity. But it seems like when a Western palate brings it into America, it just seems, I don't know, it seems tarnished. It seems exploited. And now, so you have these, almost like a cult following of, what is it actually? It's sexual energy. To just have it. And you got all these white people practice, and I've seen videos of it, and it looks spooky. It spooks me. And so the Haitian woman teaches classes of this yoni, black yoni practices. And it's like, why is this generation so preoccupied with sex, sexual energy? Tons of these classes, and it's being marketed on a yoni. Like it's good now. If you say the word vagina, it doesn't sell because it's too direct. And many people may not know what the word yoni means. See that? They want you to practice something, yet you really don't know what it is. It's about sex, sexual energy. They said, no, it's not just about sexual energy, it's about healing. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I trust her. I mean, again, this is in no criticism of her. I feel she's legit in her desire of this practice that she does, these classes that she teaches. Because she did start out as a therapist, and then now she does the healing energy, the Reiki and stuff, and now the yoni thing. Why is Western culture so preoccupied with sex? Raw sex, raw sexual energy. And they call this healing magic. I don't know. Now, because see, I think all this is branching into the sex trafficking, remember? You have traffickers, human traffickers. And what are they doing with these women? Having sex with them, having sex with children. And there are people who do what's called sex magic. And a lot of this is the sacrificing of human beings, babies, and children during these ceremonies. What I think, with all this, you have dimensionals / demon, whatever, and you know what's happening, I believe. These dimensionals or demons or whatever are feeding off of this energy, this form of energy, sex energy. And so these white people are spreading this practice, and not just white people, but primarily in the Americas, in the Western world, including Europe, that they're selling this market, but selling it under disguise, using foreign terminology like the Sanskrit words, and in English that word is vagina, but they're marketed under the yoni. And I saw another video last month. I hadn't seen her in a while, and she too has this video, and she was promoting this thing. She called it a yoni ball or something, and she's showing it. And again, what? Come on, what is this all about? Okay, you take this device and you insert it in your vagina / your privates, okay, and you turn it on. And what is it? It's a sex toy. See, we wanna we wanna spiritualize this stuff. And they say, oh, it's about healing. It's a, I mean, I think we're being duped. Okay, we're just remarketing what it is. It's a sex toy, and you have people today who are sex addicts, like that guy Weinstein. He's on trial right now. Weinstein, the guy from Hollywood. Yep. I think this is day 2 of the trial in New York City, in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan. Okay. So you have this. People are being taught sexual practices and not just calling it what it is, but you're going to call it this moving your energy or yoni practices, and say this is spiritual. And getting the sex toy / a yoni ball, and we're eating this up. Why this practice? Because they want you addicted to sex. And you have a growing number of children being molested. You have people, in foster care being molested. You have the human trafficking, which is overwhelmingly being sexually exploited. It's a growth of this sexual energy. And the woman calling herself a queer. What is a queer? Queer is, well, you use your own definition. Okay? And it seems like these new groups, like they wanted to now have a collective, and they were all ladies. So I'm wondering, okay, now I'm all for women supporting women and encouraging each other. Because see, many of our black women, many of us, we don't, the men are not around. Many of our men are in prisons, and same as in Brazil and the United States. From the age of between the age of 18 and 30 something, a big portion of that demographics is all in prison. So you have all these women and no men. And the women of the the new mainstream culture seems to be embracing homosexuality. But we use all these different terms now, and we're mixing these new terms with spirituality. So now it's like, you got the black women, some of them shaving their heads off. Again, what you want, how you want to dress is your business. But it's just something, I'm just pointing out what I'm noticing. That it seems like this spirituality of sex energy, yoni ball, and women, that it seems to be a cover for lesbianism. And that, but covering what it really is all about. So they want you to practice these sexual vibrations, but you're doing it with another woman. And so, but I'm confused with this. I'm looking for community. I'm looking for community within the black community, but I don't practice. I'm a straight woman. And I am celibate. I think what could happen when you're using these practices with the yoni and when you're with other women, you're mingling your energy with another woman. You know what I'm getting at? And I'm wondering whether this is increasing the practice of homosexuality / lesbianism under the guise of energy work. And who's really feeding off of this energy? It seems like with homosexuality that it starts to become excessive, like an obsession of exchanging of sexuality with your partner or multiple partners. And I'm wondering whether this spreading of this practice, it's almost like an addiction. That's what I'm getting at, an addiction. And the more you do it, the more it spreads onto other people to practice it, and so on and so on. And I'm wondering whether that the real culprit behind this is that some being or force is manipulating the social climate for you to actually do this because they want to tap onto your sexual energy. And do you notice also with the grouping of these women, do you notice that it seems like they tend to develop into lesbians? Now, how are you going to facilitate community if you're a lesbian? Isn't community the embracing of the family network of a man and a woman? You need to respect both energies. Okay? But when you have a practice and you're promoting something between a gender, and that it's just something that I'm just noticing. It's something happening behind the scene. Now, this is not to criticize someone who wants to practice that lifestyle of lesbianism, or if you're a guy, if you're a homosexual. You do what, if something is your orientation, then that is your orientation. But I'm just saying that there might be something underneath it all that is actually trying to promote this sexual practice, that they're trying to cover spirituality and sexual energy as a how do you say, almost a religion, but what's actually happening is it's changing your psyche. It's changing your psychological makeup to become something that you weren't. Now, some people feel that they're born a particular way, and so be it. If that's what you were like from the time of birth, that is your business. But now you're getting people who are straight, and then they're becoming lesbianism, homosexuals. So the women start to look like men, and the men start to look like women. And I think that's a problem. I think there's a problem happening. And it's being disguised as spirituality when it's not. That is my beef. Again, your practice is your practice. What you like, what your sexuality orientation is, that's your bag. And that's your business. But if you're a straight person, like myself, but who wants to embrace her roots and spirituality, why are we being led into homosexuality? Why are we being led into these Asian practices? And these practices are twisted by the whites who feed it to us. You know, it's not like we get it directly from Asia. We learn about these practices from the whites that live in the neighborhood, who dominate the industry here in New York City, right? When you look at it, look online, who's practicing it? In general, it's white women. And then you also have white men. And it seems like any new group that goes in, we have to learn through their institutions and their practices, their way of thinking, but they're not any much connected or embracing Black people. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make them stop being what they are and what I am. And so again, it's a Black people following the traditions of our society. And I think these new traditions that's being introduced to the Black community, it seems like for whatever reason, it seems to always be carrying an orientation that we weren't born with. We weren't born into the lesbianism. But all of a sudden now, the whites and the Jews that dominate New York culture are teaching us this new genre. And I'm concerned about where it's going to lead the Black community. The Black community needs both, men and women. And so it seems like a segregation of the genders now. I don't want a segregation of the genders. I want us to be together. I want men to be men and women to be women. And I think that is the norm that promotes community. Homosexuality, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, doesn't promote community, and that the homosexual community relies on the straight community to win members over. You don't reproduce through homosexuality. You reproduce between a man and a woman. And yes, we have technologies. See, there's always a way around it. We can learn other ways through what they call artificial insemination. But is that community building? No, it's not. Am I going to shun women because you go to a sperm bank? Of course not. No. Not at all. And at one time I thought I was going to go to a sperm bank because I wasn't in a relationship and I had a desire for my own child. So I understand about wanting a child, but you're not in a relationship and you're an adult, but you haven't hooked up with anybody. So I understand that. But I don't want this new spirituality about segregating the sexes and that you become a homosexual or a lesbian or a queer, as this woman self-identifies with, because I feel that it's the pulling away of society and that society is becoming more perverted through this sex addiction. See, I believe what's happening within the what do you call it, LGBTQ community, it's almost becoming a sex addiction. It's saying, okay, we have this movement, and it's almost like a sex addiction. The addiction of sex, and exploring what you now believe is you only through sexual means. There's something to all this. That's what I'm getting at. That they want you to become sex addicts, and it's being disguised as spirituality. And I think that they are, whether you call it demons or dimensionals or spirits or whatever, they are relying on you to do this behavior because that's what they feed on. They feed off of your sexual energy in particular. And that's why it's being promoted. And that the behaviors seem to get more intense and more angry if you look at them. And if you disagree with them, the rage and the anger, all of a sudden, all this spirituality goes out the window. There's something to this. You remove, let's say, an alcoholic, and you remove their booze, they get angry at you, and they become a different creature. The same thing that I'm picking up with this new movement being disguised as spirituality, and it's not. And again, I say this from the heart. I'm not saying this out of malice. I'm saying this because I'm an outsider looking in, and I'm noticing these changes. This is not about spirituality. This is not about community. You look at nature, and nature is harmony. It's the male and the female. It's the seasons, it's winter, spring, summer, fall. It flows naturally. It's one cycle entering into another cycle. That is nature, and that is harmony. This new stuff is not harmony. I think we're being duped. And I'm not implying that this woman, this Haitian woman, and I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to imply that she is X, Y, and Z. But it's just something that I've noticed, something I'm picking up, and I have to say it. I have to say it. I know some of you are not going to like what I'm saying, but it exists. I'm just saying, open your eyes, folks. Call a spade a spade. Call, if you want to call it yoni magic or it's masturbation. And if you want to do that, that's your business. But don't call it heal. They're deceiving you. We're being deceived. I want spirituality in its fullness. See, I think this all, I'm just getting this thought, and I think I wanted to talk about this also. I know it's getting kind of long, but please bear with me. See, I think These practices are to get you in your flesh and in addictions and cravings, okay? It's to keep you in the physical. But let me tell you this. I mentioned that I was introduced to what they call meditation. Nothing fancy. And I've been sharing that, especially upon awakening from sleep, and you keep your eyes closed and you just relax there, that I see these visions, these things. And in short, I think that this world that we're in is the artificial. I'm starting to think that. It wants you locked in this physical, and the one way to get you physically tied in is sex energy. But I think that this is not the real world, and that there's something else. And I'm tapping into it through this meditation, this meditation that is done when you just awaken from sleep or dreaming. And I'm in different locations. I'm actually seeing other, I've seen what looks like spacecraft. I've seen entities, and I've seen locations somewhere, look like somewhere on planet Earth, somewhere, some place I've never been to. Lakes, lakesides, someone's residence. I think that this other thing is something they don't want you to see, and that maybe there's something real behind it, that I don't know, there's something to it. There's something, I don't understand it. I'm new too. I'm new too, and I've been seeing these things since 2017. That's 17. 2017. So that's a third year. I started seeing it in January 2017. Now this is January 2020. This other realm, I believe, is the realm, the system that really controls all this physical world doesn't want you to know about. So I encourage you all to practice it, to try it out. And I think it's gonna open up your eyes. What's going on? What is really going on? And I've been posting up this other audio that I did just before this one about the dream that I had, and that almost like it was a VR simulation. Are we living in a simulation? That is my question in all this. I stress it. I can't stop stressing it. Try this thing, this meditation, because it's like that buffer zone. You're in between the sleep and the wake, and in between, I think, is where it's really happening, real life. But we're being duped into all these new practices that keep you in the flesh. And in particular now, a growing LGBTQ community. And that community is all about the flesh and its addictions. Don't fall into addictions of any kind to save yourself. So, this is, I know, kind of controversial, and again, I'm not here to poo-poo anybody. I'm a student too. I want us all to wake up and smell the coffee, as the expression goes. There's something going on here. There's something really going on to deceive all of us. I really care about us, Black community. There's here in America, we're being pulled apart. The families are being pulled apart, and it pains me. And the only thing left for us to get into, especially the women, are these new spirituality groups, Reiki groups, and it's pulling us into liking the same gender in a sexual way. And I think that's a trap. But if that's what you like, that is what you like. So I thank you all for listening. And yes, share your comments below. And let me know what you think. And let me know what your truth is. And maybe other things that I could try or at least learn more about in my desire to awaken into a higher self. This world system is I don't want it anymore. I want the truth, but I know it's going to be a painful ride. So yes, write your comments below in a constructive manner. You can share this video with friends, family members. You could subscribe to my channel, Spirit Journey. And those of you who like this content, you could donate to my PayPal me account. And to do so, you go to my channel, Spirit Journey, and there's a banner, and on the right side of this banner, you see my PayPal me link. Just click on it and follow the prompt. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. I thank you all in advance. Take care and enjoy your New Year's. Bye-bye.